Welcome to Both Sides Now, featuring the unconventional duo, Dr. Shirley and medium Kelly White. Two perspectives, one world. This is Both Sides Now.
Yay! Hi, everybody. I am spiritual medium Kelly White, and welcome to Both Sides Now TV. Hi, John.
Hey, Kel. Welcome back.
Thank
It's the
you.
20th of January. Can you believe it?
It's hard to believe, hard to fathom. And Shirley's going to be with us in a minute, I'm thinking.
Great.
She's still with the patient, but she should be back any minute. And it's Martin Luther King today.
Yes, it is. I posted a couple things in our group and on our page.
That was great.
Remembering Martin Luther King and his legacy and wisdom.
A lot of wisdom and a lot of light. A lot of light, which is what we're about.
Yes, definitely.
Wow.
And we got some people pouring in. We got Nancy. We've got Karen. We've got Susie. Hi, ladies. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. Yay. Well, I'm going to start. One of the things that I want to talk about briefly is that I ran into my new friend from Zodica here in Wisconsin who had the Zodiac perfume. And I saw her today. And so she wants everybody to know that you can still put your code in, and John, you'll get the code, and she's terrific. And I got to get a lot of her perfumes today, and they were just really extraordinary. I'm so excited to have them. And she has one for the hair, and really kind of lifted my spirits today. Another thing that I did today is I joined a gym and got a personal trainer. You didn't expect that, did you, John?
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. This 2020 has really started off with a bang, literally. And and the other thing that I really want to talk to you about mediums out there is I also had a session with my holistic doctor in LA. His name is Dr. Steven Steitler, Stiteler, and he's fabulous. He's in Santa Monica, California. You send your urine into him, and then he analyzes it. And one of the things that came up for me that I did want to talk about for other mediums out there and psychics and people that do this work is that what he noticed is that my nervous system was very different than anybody else's. And normal nervous system number on that is like between 7 and 12, and mine was at 24. And he said he knows this is because of the work I do. And so because I work, bringing in everybody's emotions and dealing with everybody and on this side and this side, he said that mine, that's a natural state for mine, is that high. But what he said is, and this is why I'm mentioning it, is it brings up high inflammation. So mediums out there, really, you might want to watch your diet a lot with anti-inflammation food, like an anti-inflammation diet. So I just want to put that out there. So since Shirley's not here, I am going to start the astrology for the month and really where we are right now.
All righty.
I'm thinking she's going to be on it in a minute, but so as we know, 2020, as we had mentioned, it's actually going to be a spectacular year that marks the dawn of a new era. I mean, it's really an epic year, an epic decade. We still have that Capricorn stellium going, and that Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, the South Node, and Mars. And so 2020, this year is about Capricorn. So it still is going to be about orders and systems and hierarchies. And the other thing is about this year, it's about breaking old patterns that no longer sustain growth. And I think that was why I went in to have my, get my new system in order here, because it really is it's breaking old patterns. And the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that occurred on January 12th, it's also about building a strong foundation. So these are going to be foundations that will sustain you and stand the test of time going forward in this decade. So it's a lot of change that will happen in this year. If it hasn't started for you already, it will. You'll start making different choices, things that are better for you. As your vibration rises, you'll understand that you can't continue to live the patterns that you're used to. And that is why we're going to have this topic tonight, as soon as Shirley gets in. So, and today, today's the 20th, right? Yeah. Yes. Today, the sun enters Aquarius. So for you Aquarians out there, That means unexpected events, creativity, interest in activities that are stimulating at an intellectual level. It should increase your social network and boost your business and your professional profile as well. And it's a humanity oriented sign. So what it does is it brings focus of people, groups of people, and again, connections. So it's going to be a really interesting time this month because it brings elements of fairness to people, and equality. And for humanity, it brings people together for specific reasons and for a purpose. So it's going to be a really interesting month for that. The other
Mhm.
thing I want to mention as soon as before Shirley gets here is on the 25th, we go into the Chinese New Year as the Year of the Rat. So that's going to be new. And the Year of the Rat were people that were born in 1948, 1960, 1972, 1984, 1996, 2008. So these are all people that would have those qualities, which I do not know what they are. You'll have to go online to look.
Okay.
It's it's enough with astrology.
Let's see.
But
So Year of the Rat. So that's let's see what we got for that.
yeah, if you have anything on the Year of the Rat, they're
Well, it's
interesting.
the first of all zodiac animals. According to one myth, the Jade Emperor said that the order would be decided by the order in which they arrived to his party. The rat tricked the ox into giving him a ride. Then, just as they arrived at the finish line, rat jumped down and landed ahead of ox, becoming first.
That
So the
makes
rat is
sense.
associated with the earthly branch. And let's see, rats were seen as a sign of wealth and surplus. Wow.
Wow.
Because of their reproduction rate, married couples also prayed to them for children. Very
Oh,
interesting.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So personality characteristics are optimistic and energetic. People born in the rat year are likely likable by all. They are sensitive to others' emotions, but are stubborn with opinion. Their
Oh,
personality is kind, but due to weak communication skill, their words may seem impolite and rude. It's a little brash. On the financial side, they like saving and can be stingy. However, their love for hoarding will sometimes cause them to waste money on unnecessary
oh
things.
my. Interesting.
Yeah, so men are
Wow.
clever and adapt quickly to new environments. They're creative and great at taking advantage of opportunities. However, they sometimes lack the courage to do so. Although they have great ideas, they might not be suitable for leadership. Women born in the rat year are traditional women. They love keeping things organized and place great value on the family. Everything is taken care of by them, and there is no need for their husband to worry. Outside of the home, they're also someone with a sense of responsibility and ability. So that's
Huh.
interesting. So that's the ChineseNewYear.net that I'm reading from. If you guys want to read
Okay.
more about that,
So there's
it
a
gets into
lot
the
going on.
compatibility and all of that as well. Yeah,
Wow. That's a lot.
so that's interesting.
Well, I'm not sure where Shirley is right now. So I think I'd like to go into our topic, which is the family divided.
Yeah.
And the reason Shirley and I came up with this topic, and please call in with your situations. I'd love to hear about them. The reason we came up with this and decided to do this topic is it started with my own personal family. We had a big breakup, something that was not
Mhm.
seen. I couldn't have seen. I didn't know was coming, and it came in different directions at the same time. So it was really a shock to my system. It really, maybe that's why my nervous system was out of control. Could have been,
Yeah.
but because it was a huge emotional shift for me. It was just
Yeah.
huge, and so and as a result, I also started paying attention to my clients, and my clients were having the same situation, not the exact same situation that I was, but families that had been broken up, siblings that didn't talk to each other anymore, and friends that stopped talking to each other. And there's seems to be a lot of that going on now. And so I really wanted to talk about that. And I can talk to you about why now. Why is it happening now? I mean, we're in a year, this 2020 year.
Mhm.
This 2020 year, it uh, it's very intense time. And so people that have had family dynamics, family secrets, family trouble before, the energy wouldn't sustain a family. The family would break apart. It's that
Mm.
intense of a time period,
Yeah.
actually. And it's been happening since 2019, 2018, 2019, but really this year really goes further. But I think what happens, and this is the case that happened with me, and I think it happens with a lot of families. So I would love to hear about from other people with this.
Mm-hmm.
But after a mother passes, a matriarch, or after a father passes, if there's a patriarch, especially when both parents pass away, the governor is off. It's like, I think what happens is you you the old family system that was kept together by the mother, the father, or the mother, or the father, or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
that the old family structure, when they're gone, it's, see, any trouble that was really there, that the families kind of put a lid on it the best they could. It's that there was a big explosion, or a big implosion, or explosion, when there was no governor to hold on to.
Yeah.
The governor is the one that
Mm-hmm.
kind of keeps everybody in line.
Yeah.
When that's no longer there, the family system goes kaplooey.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what happened in my case.
Wow.
um it's the other thing that happens at the same time is, if your vibration is going up, and that would be through, let's say you start to get very, you go into meditation and start questioning and paying attention to signs, and you're one with the universe, and as your vibration starts to rise, you will be less tolerant of intolerable people, because especially as an empath, it will really get to you.
Yeah.
Whether it's family or a friend or whoever it is, you'll be less tolerant. So if you have, your vibration is rising, and you have the parents that are passed, that's like a formula, if you will, for everything to change. Now, can it change in the most positive direction? Of course it could have. It did not in my case. But it certainly could. I mean, absolutely it could have. Um, and so, and Shirley and I had this great conversation yesterday. Why spiritually, or I should say this, we're taught when we're younger, we're taught as families that families stick together no matter what. I think that's kind of what people do. They stick together. And I think back in the day, it was very important that people stuck together.
Mm-hmm.
Things have really changed a lot now. And so I started thinking about this spiritually. Does it mean that we have to make this work because they are a sibling? We have to make this work? No, I don't believe that anymore. I actually don't. And I'm not saying that from a negative place. I'm saying it from a place from spirituality. We are all here to work on our own individual, what we came in to do.
Mm-hmm.
And each soul is supposed to have their own experience while they're here. So, could I be a teacher to somebody else in my family? You bet. Could that person be a teacher to me? Yep. And that one person or two people that I'm thinking of in my family, I've I really pulled way far away, way back. And I'm, I hope that they would have learned some things from me to be able to, make some changes, needed changes. I would
Yeah.
hope so. We'll see. Who knows? But the reason I say all of this is because I think the way the world is now is, it's really about taking care of yourself, and it's not selfish. If somebody has been awful to you,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to stay there anymore. It's not necessary anymore. You actually you need to take care of yourself. I think taking care of yourself is everything. I think it's
Yeah.
extremely important. Um, and another question, that I get asked a lot is it better to do it let's say you want to make up with the family. Is it better to do it while you're in this dimension, or is it better to do it when you're on the other side? Is it easier? And sometimes it can be better if you can make things work here. But if there's a personality disorder with the person, great odds that it may not happen.
Mm-hmm.
If the person or the people that you are no longer speaking to, that you're divided from, if they are somewhat normal meaning not a personality disorder, then everything is probably possible with that. So that's when that olive branch goes out, and somebody's, is the big one, and they say, oh, come on, let's work on this. That can happen if there's not a personality disorder. But if there's a personality disorder, it changes everything. Have you noticed that, John?
Oh yeah, it's way more challenging. That is for
It's
sure.
it's way more challenging.
Yeah.
Um, and so
I think we have
sometimes,
Shirley.
oh, is Shirley
Finally.
here?
He sure is.
Shirley, you made it. Is she there?
I think she's on
Hi
a bit of
there. I
there
am
she is.
so sorry. Hi, I know. I apologize to you and John and to all our listeners. Can you hear me?
Hi, Cheryl. Are you there? I mean, I can see you and I can hear you a little bit.
Hi, can you hear me? Maybe it's a little
Yes.
bit delayed.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes. Yeah. So we were talking about families divided. Oh, are you there?
I'm gonna add her back and see if that helps.
Okay.
Someone, it was very
I can't hear you.
Shirley, do you hear us okay? Oh, I think she's gonna go ahead and come back.
Okay.
Yeah. It's live, folks, and she's at her office, so I think she has.
I have some people that prefer this.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
we do
God.
have some calls pending, Cal. So if you want to get to the calls,
Maybe we should take a call. Yeah.
All right. So let's go to area code 608-608. You're on the line with us. Can we have your name, please, and where you're calling from?
Hi. Hi, my name's Maddie, and I'm calling from Monroe in Wisconsin.
Well, hi,
And,
Maddie. Monroe.
Hi.
That's the big town where I live.
I
I'm good.
know.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, honey. How can we help you today?
No, my mom and I were just watching, and we just noticed how much this struck home with everything that's been going on. So,
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I think it
yeah,
strikes home with a lot of people, and I think this is really important. Yeah, I love that. Linda says it's important to keep spiritual point of view present. Oh, thank you for saying that, Linda. It really is important because it's easy to fall into the trap of the negativity when there's family drama. It's very easy to do, and
right.
it's easy to take a position of grinding your feet in and saying, that's it. I'm not going to have anything to do with that person. Except if you're taking a spiritual approach, you take a step back, you view the situation. I mean, I am in prayer constantly. I'm in a state of meditation all the time. So I really do work on myself with that and really watching the trying not to get triggered, I should say, by everything. But it's tough to do. And we're human and we're having a human experience right now. In this dimension, we're having a human
Right.
experience. So it's really tough because everybody is going to get triggered. And so what do you do? I mean, in your particular case, do you want to talk about anything that's exactly has happened or?
Well, so since my grandpa passed away 3 years ago, as a family, we've mostly gotten to know each other better, and we now have an aunt that we kind of knew about but had never met before, and we're getting really close with her family. And
Wow.
now one of my aunts, that is my grandma's daughter, also has almost separated herself from everyone, and just nothing is ever her fault, and she's super selfish about everything. And when we invite her to things and she doesn't want to go, and then post things about it online, she's like, oh, why wasn't I invited? And making it seem like we were the ones to not want her to come with us.
Was your grandfather, was he the kind of the patriarch where he kind of kept everybody would come around when he was alive?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what happens. It takes the person that's in charge of the family, or the person that's the patriarch or the matriarch. And it takes that person you're talking about, that's either that cousin or aunt or sister you're talking about, not sister, but it sounds like a very difficult personality. And when that happens, when somebody dies who controls that personality, there's nothing to control them. And so the best way you can do it is you can just live your life. It's painful. I can tell you how painful it is. It's painful, but you live your life. You think you live the best life that you can live. And that person either decides to come around or not, but you don't personalize it. Don't personalize it. Right, Shirley?
Yeah.
Shirley, can you hear that? I can't tell if Shirley. Hi, Cheryl. Are you there?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just don't personalize it, honey. I know it's tough to do, but it's where that's
I am.
view it as where that
Yeah.
soul is currently. And I always use the word currently because I like to believe that people can change, even though I think there's some limits. I do, Shirley. I think there's some limits here with if people can change that much, but don't take it personally, honey. Okay. And I know
Yeah.
your
No,
family's
it's
very
true.
is loves each other very much. So,
Yeah.
and thanks for calling, Maddie. You're just a doll. I
Absolutely.
love your family.
Oh, we love you.
Oh, thanks, honey.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Take care,
you.
sweetheart. Bye-bye. So sweet.
Yes. Bye.
Bye, honey. So, Shirley, what do you have to say about families divided?
I think Shirley is on a delay, Kelly, for some reason with her
Oh.
connection.
So
We can try.
I don't know if this is
Yeah, because she keeps her video keeps freezing up.
I tried rebooting my connection.
Can you go into another room, Shirley? Is Laura
Take
there?
me
Can you
out
go
for a
ahead?
moment and then let me come back and continue with the show. I don't want to disrupt anything.
Sure
Okay.
thing. Okay. All right. So we have another caller.
Yeah,
that-
let's take another
Let's
call.
go to area code 805. I think this is Susie. Is that correct? Is this Susie?
This is Susie.
Hey,
Hi,
Susie.
Susie. Hi, honey. How are you
Hi,
doing?
everyone.
Hi.
I
So,
think I came in to this life for this exact reason, to experience the family divided.
Mm,
tell
mhm.
me about that.
What was that?
Tell us about that.
Oh, well, my mother died in 1979, and that set my sister and brother and I up for depression and anxiety and all that stuff. And my sister and brother went into drugs and alcohol. They became addicts.
Wow.
My dad died in 2003, and that's when the family totally collapsed. Everything just fell apart. And
Wow.
I haven't heard from my sister and brother in close to 20 years now, including my nephew, which really, really hurt when that was taken away from me.
Was there a reason
So,
that something happened 20 years ago?
well, it was after my dad died. He was the one that sort of, even though he was an alcoholic, he was the one that sort of kept the three siblings together. And that was because of the inheritance. Everybody wanted to be nice, nice, nice because of the inheritance.
Yep.
They didn't want to lose it.
Yeah, it's a common thing.
It happened and we got it. Everybody got greedy and nasty and everything. Everybody just didn't want nothing to do with anybody. There was just a big blame game.
Yep. That's exactly what happens. That's it in a nutshell. And it doesn't have to be that way. How do you handle
I
that?
want more than anything to work on this.
It's painful, isn't it?
Extremely painful. I deal with this every single, excuse my language, effing day. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It hurts.
It does hurt. I understand. I understand. I mean, trying to keep a positive light going and keeping your vibration up when this has happened is tough. And that's why this is as we go into this decade, it really is about taking care of you. Everybody has to take care of themselves. This is the whole energy of this 2020 as we go into it. So Tammy says, we come together as souls playing roles. That's correct. Those roles become our identities. It's always helpful to remember that nothing can break love from flowing, even if it's from your own heart to them. No one controls that except you. Casting someone out of your heart is a choice, maybe needed at the time, but the connection always remains. Oh, Tammy, I loved how you said that. That's very true. That's true. It's true. That love just keeps flowing out. That's true.
Yeah, but my sister cut me out of her life and took my nephew away from me.
Oh, that's so painful. That's just awful. Oh my gosh.
It's just evil.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know what I did wrong.
I hear that from everybody. They don't know what they did wrong. Maybe you didn't do anything
I
wrong.
want to know. I didn't. I loved them. I tried to help them. But I get.
So in times like these, Kelly, do you think it would be helpful to sort of have either a therapist or a mediator, someone to sort of come in and get the answers to try to help someone?
I think, therapist for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a mediator, I think the therapist first should work with the person first and get the feelings out and talk about and maybe put together a plan. And, again, if you put together a plan and then you want to make an attempt to bring them together, then what happens? What if the other people are like, no, I want nothing to do with it. And then you're hurt again. So it's a real tricky situation. What I found in this, this dimension is full of all kinds of things, and that is a tough one, frankly. But I would start with a therapist. I mean, I think, Susie, we probably talked about that, but I would start with a therapist.
Yeah.
That would help because
I can't, because my sister won't even give me her address or phone number. My brother, I don't know where he is. I'd have to hire a private investigator to find him.
Wow. So, I mean, it is very traumatic. It's very traumatic. And it's one of those things where, you personally would take a deep spiritual approach and just know that, as you said, that this life you came in with this life about family divided. And it's, so it's about healing yourself. And again, once you're on the other side, will you have peace with this? Yeah, you would work it out. That's what I was saying earlier. Sometimes you work it out here in this dimension, and sometimes it's just not possible. And especially, honey, if there's personality disorders or alcohol or drugs, personality disorders, just they put wrenches in everything, and it's just awful. But we do come into it's awful, but we do come to this school. And remember, this earth plane is a school, and everybody's at a different vibration. Everybody's at a different place. And so maybe you're at this place and they're somewhere over here, and that's what the way I view it. And is it painful? You betcha. You betcha. But you find joy in everything that you can with your animals, with people that you want, your own family that you want to create and put around you. That's what you do. I mean, these are all the tips that I have done.
If I can trust people again.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Well, definitely look for, a good therapist for sure. Okay. We'll talk more.
3 years of it, but
I know. Just keep your vibration up.
I know. I'm not putting this all on you. I'm just, help express it and get it out.
Get it out. Go do things that you love. Work with the horses. Everything that you love.
We often post in our group to, don't personalize or internalize other people's behavior, because what they do is not a reflection of you. Their actions represent them and where they are in their growth. So just observe instead of absorbing.
Person.
Yeah.
Absolutely, John. That was good.
And that overreacting. And because a lot of it, I think, is based on assumptions, and that's the filter that people have. They assume the worst, and then
totally.
And then that breaks it down rather than having that. A lot of people have an issue with confronting other people, and maybe not even confronting, but actually just trying to get clarity on the situation
going.
Yeah. So then, like you said, you don't even know what you did.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things where it's like
mystery.
Yeah. And
but I've heard so many stories like that, Susie, where they don't even know what they've done.
Yeah.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's a connection issue. It's better now, and it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Well, thanks, Susie, for calling. I appreciate it.
And I have Marguerite coming up next.
All right.
Thank you, Shirley.
Hi, Susie.
Susie.
Bye, Susie.
Susie. Bye.
I have both Shirley and Susie in my head. All right, let's move on here to let's get Tammy on. Tammy was on commenting earlier, so let's do that. And Marguerite, you're coming up. Hi, Tammy. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for sharing that
Hi.
earlier. That was
Yeah.
Hi,
beautiful.
Tammy.
Yeah.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Tammy.
Hey everybody. It's a great topic. It's a totally great topic. Because we identify with our families, and we don't often realize that we're also souls in those families, and we all have individual paths. And for me personally, I came into a family that was totally dysfunctional, and I remember watching everybody, and as they over the years left with my father and my mother and my sister, I realized, and then my oldest sister disowned me. I struggled with, how can you be a sister one day and not the next? That didn't make sense to me. And so whether it's by, death or just a force kind of issue where the person doesn't want to be with you anymore, or they just say, hey, I can't deal with you. You're left with, okay, what do I do with that? And who was I to that person? And I realized over time, it took me a while, that everybody is playing different roles in the family, and the family actually has a bigger meaning than what we realize. We have our family tribe, our biological family, but also this huge family that gets created wherever we go, whether we get friends or animals or whatever. But with my sister in particular, whom I have not seen in probably 34 years and haven't talked to her through no choice of my own, it's what she's done, is I struggled with that. How can you cut that off? It just didn't make sense for no reason. Mm-hmm. And then one day, after much prayer and meditation, I realized that the one thing she couldn't control was my love for her. Mm-hmm. And once I got that, I was good. Even if I didn't see her again in my lifetime, mm-hmm. that couldn't be stopped and that couldn't be controlled. I controlled that.
So you continue to love her.
To see them the rest of your life, for instance, mm-hmm. it's not that that's not painful. Mm-hmm. It's just they cannot cut the flow off. Only you can do that.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. That's amazing, Tammy. That takes a really high vibrational person to say that.
That's very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'd rather live in the space of love than in the heartache of cutting somebody or casting somebody out of my heart. That feels 10 times worse. And so, with all the stories I've heard, and I so totally resonate with a father who committed suicide and a mother who excommunicated me, and then a sister who died at, when I was 45. And I was like, okay, people, how did I work this one out?
Right?
What family did I get in?
What was I thinking?
Loss after loss, trying to figure it out. I realized that, they were souls on their own path, and we were brought together as a quote unquote family, but they each had their individual parts they had to play. And so once I understood that, and it's taken a long time, but once I understood that, there was a compassion that came in for whatever they were going through that caused them to cut people off or act the way they did. But they couldn't control that love that flowed from me. Only I do that.
I wonder, wow, Tammy, that is so powerful. I'm kind of venturing into your territory, Kelly, but it seems like that might have been what your soul came here to learn, is that love piece, which you're absolutely right. Nobody can control who you love or who you send love to. On earth, while we live here, we can set boundaries with people who, cross our boundaries and don't respect us, but we can still love them. I've always said you can hold more than one feeling or thought or emotion for either the same event or the same person.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not something that we're taught, that's the thing. Once we learn the spiritual knowledge, right? And by doing our spiritual work, and it is work, as you pointed out, that's how we get to that point of, understanding, and then maybe even eventually forgiveness in some cases.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And once again, forgiveness doesn't mean that I have to engage with this person. Forgiveness
Right.
can just mean that I want to let it go and continue to feel, love and emit love, as you said, because those attachment connections between a parent and child and siblings and stuff like that are very strong. There is a reason why someone either chooses to stop talking. It could be they have a personality disorder, which is one of the things that we found in our work. I'm sure, Kelly, you talked about this, is the one thing that it's almost like it pushes the brain to a place almost of no return. I mean, I found in my practice, it's the most difficult people. If they have a teeny bit of insight and awareness, then I can help. But when there's absolutely no awareness and it's always everybody else's fault and everything is done to me, and there's not a lot to be done. The people around them need to either, set boundaries or make decisions for themselves. And,
but it does pull at you. It pulls at you. It's that deep connection.
Right. So those attachment connections are so important, and they are above and beyond. I mean, how many people do you know or have you heard that had a horrific upbringing and still, abused by a parent and still want a connection with that parent?
Right.
So if you make a choice to stop talking to someone, or, in your case, somebody stopped talking to you, there's a reason for that. So in this case, I'm going to guess that you have maybe, your sister, your mom maybe had personality disorders that caused them to behave in the way they did. But if you're someone who has someone with a personality disorder in their family and you choose to stop talking to them, it's always for a reason. It doesn't just happen.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, and also you get to a point where enough's enough.
The important thing is to see him as a soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Tammy. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to view where that soul's growth is. Oh, that's where that soul is hovering at right now. Oh, okay.
Right.
It's the only way I can view things. Oh, that's where the soul is. That's where the soul is. And that's what I was saying early on, Shirley, that as you practice this soul piece, that you are a soul having a human experience in this body, as you're practicing this, your vibration starts to rise. You're taking care of yourself, and you're loving yourself, and you're honoring your soul's why your soul journeyed here. And as you're doing that, and as your vibration is rising, you can absolutely love somebody that has treated you badly. You actually can, but you don't have to follow through and be with that person.
Right.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
It's like viewing something with your spiritual eyes or your earthly eyes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, if you don't heal it here on this dimension, which I think you probably get a lot of bonus points for doing it, but maybe you get a lot of bonus points for, wait a minute, not taking any more shit anymore.
Right.
Maybe you get bonus points for that strong boundary that you had to place.
Movie Defending Your Life, where they're looking at how many times, they were actually fearful or they were actually courageous. So it was
and I think it's courageous to set boundaries.
Yeah.
It's courageous.
This year is courage. So we have Anna that's making a wonderful comment. She says, I think sometimes people have unresolved issues with the person who has passed, and then they project that unfinished business onto other family members with intensity.
Oh my God, that's so wise, Anna.
Anna,
so brilliant.
You're absolutely right.
Right on.
She says the split happened in my family too. It happens to so many so often, and I just think that makes me wonder. She says,
that is so absolutely true. Because you find, so many times when like either the matriarch or a figure in the family, usually a parental figure, passes, many times the whole family splits apart. And
the governor is off. Yeah, the governor is off. And the real, what I said earlier is that the family that's held in with the patriarch or the matriarch, and it's held like this, there are family secrets, we don't talk about it, or there's family dysfunction, we don't talk about it, or no matter what, even if there is all that, we still hover together. What happens is when, again, it's twofold. Your vibration is rising. You've been doing a lot of spiritual work. And at the same time, everybody dies. Then who's going to hold you back? There's no holding you back.
Right. And projecting, I think, as Anna, as you're saying so correctly, that you project whatever you didn't resolve with the person who passed on onto maybe the family dynamic or the family nucleus, everyone that's left.
Yeah. So, well, it's so interesting. In my case, one of my siblings believes that just because our mother passed, that we should all be doing the same thing that we did before. And I'm like, well, nope, I don't think so. Things have changed now. It's interesting.
Right.
Things do
Interesting
change.
dynamic. Things have changed.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you for calling in, Tammy. Going to get
Thanks,
to our next
Tammy.
caller.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Tammy.
Good to talk to you.
You too.
Hi, Tammy.
Bye-bye. All right, so we're moving on to, let's see, I think Marguerite from area code 760. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you for your patience, Marguerite.
That's okay. Yes. Yes, I'm dealing with my brother and sister. I took care of my mother when she had her stroke. And before she had her stroke, she made an investment. And then, of course, then when she went to heaven, she told me that she wanted, the money to go to her children and grandchildren and stuff when it came into fruition. And it hasn't came into fruition as yet. And my brother and sister are getting very impatient and angry and cursing at me, but I don't have the authority when it comes into fruition. And I wish, of course, I wish my mother was here to talk to them, but she's in heaven. So I'm kind of in the middle.
I understand that. I think what I'm getting is that you'll just have to play this out. You just have to play it out. Everybody has to take everybody will take their positions on this. And God knows I have seen plenty of these situations when it involves money and when it involves inheritance. I've never seen anything like it. I would have never imagined that I personally could have had this kind of trouble. And yet we did. So it's kind of shocking. So I hear you. And what I get from this, Margarita, is just let it just play out. It's not done playing out yet. Okay, it's just not done yet.
From my mother, Janet.
What I'm getting from her is the same thing. Just settle in. It'll be okay. She's telling me that it does work itself out. She's saying that. So I don't know what that will look like, but
beautiful.
It will work itself out.
Okay.
It may not be today or tomorrow, but it will be sooner than you think.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yes, because I don't want, none of us need this.
Oh, I know.
With our family, and but we're not in control of how people think and how people act.
Yeah, that's number one right there. Boy, is that the truth. Gosh, well, thanks for calling.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
There's a lot of this, Shirley, going on.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And it's hard to talk about it. And I have someone that I work with who doesn't talk to her sister. And it almost feels like she's wearing a scarlet letter. She feels so judged by everyone that there must be something wrong with her. And it's really kind of reminding her and working through that and healing those wounds that made her feel like, that there's something wrong with her because of it. She doesn't do it for a very good reason,
Wow. Right.
And she feels like she's being judged all the time and that people aren't going to want to be her friend if they find out and stuff. So there's so many things to work through. And in to the reality of
amazing,
I have to protect myself, me and my family, and not talk to this person who could be a sibling, who could be a parent,
God.
Yeah.
So Stacey,
go ahead.
Oh, Stacy says, my family has disowned me without saying it since I was very young. It's extremely difficult to deal with as a child.
I bet it is.
Ugh. Well, Shirley, do you want to take that one on?
It's funny because it's what I was working with before jumping on, which is why I couldn't let this person leave in the state that they were in. And it was working kind of exactly through that, is seeing particularly parents as the fallible human beings that they are. And it's one of the most difficult things that you can do at any age. I have an 80-year-old going through that right now. Because sometimes when one parent is obviously really bad, the other parent has to be great. That's the only way to survive your childhood. And then it comes crashing down when you realize, oh my gosh, this parent was human too. And didn't do what they needed to do or didn't. And it seems like, Stacey, that's what you're dealing with. You don't know why they disowned you, but there is, parents aren't perfect. And unfortunately, we have this innate belief that they're going to always do the right thing and it's unconditional love, and the intention might be there, but it doesn't always happen.
God, that's so true.
Yeah.
That is so
Yeah.
true.
And we have
Yeah.
another caller, ladies. Let's get to the next caller. Area code, don't have it. It's anonymous. So can we have your name, please, and where you're calling from?
Well, I would like to be anonymous.
Okay. You are. Can we have your name, please?
Cleo.
All right. How can we help you today?
Well, it was about like a significant event or a death. It all happened like within about 6 months. My husband passed. Then I had a son-in-law, and I really don't know if he had a mental problem or if he was on drugs, but he was accused of battering my granddaughter. She was only 3 weeks old. And then the law got involved, and they forced my daughter and him to get a divorce. And then he was forced to give up custody of the child. Well, my daughter and I think, have really recovered, and my granddaughter's fine. We didn't know at the time if she was going to be normal or blind because she had a lesion in her brain.
Oh my God.
But everything's fine now.
Oh, good.
But we were all drug into it. We were all investigated. And he like pointed fingers at me and everybody, and we were barred from even being around her. But they did clear my one daughter of taking care of her. And she thought she was going to have a daughter, which would have been her niece. But it's been like 5 years now, and she still has to bring it up. I think it was traumatic to her, too. But, I mean, we'd like to go on. I wish they'd quit bringing it up because I think we've all pretty much healed from it. But like I say, this all happened like within 6 months after their father passed, and they were very close to him and looked up to him. And then I became the matriarch, and I don't really get the respect, but like I try to treat everybody equal. But they say now that I have to take care of this daughter, that she had to be cleared and went through all kinds of mental evaluations and tests, but she really never got therapy for it because it was like she was happy, a newlywed, and she had a baby and everything she thought was wonderful. And then one day her whole life was turned upside down. And it affected her job because she worked with children. She almost lost her job because of that. To being with children, they were going to bar her if she got accused of anything, but it was cleared. But I don't even know if my son-in-law was mentally ill or if he even really did it because we could not believe it. I felt like the law got involved and just forced him to get a divorce without any therapy and without even really investigating things. They just had to keep somebody.
Well, can I ask what state you're in?
Yeah, I'm in Florida. And I know there's some things going on in Texas now, which I've really been trying to watch on the news about how they're going to have a second party involved.
Well, Shirley, you used to do some of that work.
Yeah, I used to investigate child abuse.
She can zoom in on anything. She could really tell, like maybe if I told her, like the dates or anything like that.
I'd be curious what this.
Like on Cinco de Mayo, that was the day.
It happened on Cinco de Mayo. Wow.
Yeah.
I'd be curious about what is your son-in-law's. What was his birth date? I'd be curious about that.
Yeah, February 16th, like 72, I believe, or 71. I can't really remember.
Wow. So everything he valued was taken away. Well, he comes in to experience a lot of loss.
My daughter was happy, and they had everything. They had a nice house, everything. Well, that's another thing. He kind of like went on a rampage and was like knocking out the windows of the house, and that's what started. Well, this happened after he was accused of battering the daughter.
And he had never done anything like this before?
Well, they say he has, but I don't know. We didn't know about it. Because at the time, the computers in the different counties were not connected.
Oh, so he might have had a criminal record, but you didn't know about it.
Right.
I see.
Wow. Well, it sounds like, that he probably did this. Has your daughter had a lot of trauma therapy or help?
Well, like I say, she did have to go to a psychiatrist, and they talked to her to see if she was okay to release the child back to her.
Yeah, that sounds like it was more of an evaluation, but I would highly recommend therapy for her. And I don't know if you were referring to her about she wants to keep talking about it. That tells me that
No, it's not her. She wants to move on. She wants to get, another life back together.
Who wants to keep talking about it?
The other daughter, it was clear to take care of the child, rather than going to a foster home, she was kept in the family.
So is she still taking care of her?
No, they released her back to the mother.
They released back to the mother, but this daughter wants to keep talking about it. Has she been to therapy? I mean, sometimes you can get traumatized, by being part of or a witness of something. There's got to be a reason why she wants to keep talking about it. And if it's not talked about, that need is still going to be there. So I would be curious as to why she feels the need to continue to talk about it.
Yeah. Gosh. Okay. And I don't get a hit on it other than, I think everybody's life has to move on in a really strong, powerful way, and to release anything that went on, but working through it and getting empowering.
Yeah.
Because that's a really tough story, I mean, he did something happened,
Yes.
And so it would really teach everybody, get rid of them. I mean, that's scary and traumatic.
Right.
And awful.
Right.
God,
okay.
Poor thing. Well, thanks for calling. That was an intense story, but thank you for sharing it.
Things happen that are bad. Sometimes the good comes out of it, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Passes, it changed your life, maybe for the better in a way. Sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you for calling in. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes it's not immediately apparent what the lesson is or what the reason why we go through some experiences that we go through.
Yeah. It's not immediately apparent, but certainly boundaries, getting your own life together. There's so many people that have gone through so many horrific experiences. And how does the soul survive? How does the soul continue to carry on? It's amazing. Souls are something else. They're their own force of nature here.
Yeah.
And somehow we can get through things, but often we need therapy to help with what happened. And telling the story over and over and releasing it is very important.
Yeah. So Rebecca's saying, since I'm a medium, my mother thinks I'm doing witchcraft. Most of the rest of the family judges me.
Oh, you poor thing, Rebecca.
You'll be able to tell them I told you so on the other side, Rebecca. That's what I say to non-believers. And I'm, huge left brain and had a lot of friends who, just in the academic arena that don't believe in it. And, it's hard when your family doesn't and you don't find support.
It's awful.
You have to.
It's awful, Rebecca. Thank God. My mom supported me and my husband supports me. And thank God for that, and then James supported me. So and you, Shirley, supported me.
Yeah.
Thank God. And John supported me. But it's
really
tough
when you're accused of doing witchcraft, that whole thing, because that's their programming. That's
that's the program.
That's fear.
Yeah.
That's fear. And and unfortunately, religion causes, if someone is highly religious, they're going to cause more fear about that. So, even I found out, years ago that even in the Catholic religion, reincarnation Catholics used to believe in reincarnation. And then I think it was in the times of St. Augustine, they decided to make it a sin because they thought, well, if people think that they're going to come back, then it's sex, drugs, rock and roll.
Do-over.
Right, they get a do-over. So
rock
then
and roll.
they decided that reincarnation, if you believe in it and you're Catholic, it's sin. So it's fear-based, that belief in witchcraft and stuff, it's fear-based. It's what you don't understand. And instead of, and I don't mean to harp on religion, but instead of our culture to not teach curiosity, wow, this is different. I've never heard of it. Let me be curious about this. They teach fear and
condemnation. Yes.
You know,
But
in
it's
fact,
really hard when a family would break up over that one. And I suspect that's what Rebecca said. She walked away. That's a
Yeah.
tough one. That's a
Mhm.
really tough one. Not to feel support from the family for that reason.
Right, right.
And that the religion would come in for that. Oh,
Oh, I
Vasemir.
know.
Well, I don't
It's
know if in
rough.
the case of Rebecca, if it's religion. I just kind of, thought that sometimes when the witchcraft word kind of
Oh,
got me
yeah.
to believe that
Normally
maybe
that's
her mother is
Yeah.
Mhm.
religious, and that's what you're taught, when you
Yeah,
don't understand
exactly.
something. Yeah.
Well, we have about 5 minutes, so we can do a quick call or we can read some comments. In the meantime, just want to let people know we do have our Facebook group, our community, which is a support group. So you can click on the Both Sides Now TV Facebook page and then click visit group and join that group. We have a lot of people who join. I think over 100 people have joined since the start of the year. So, I mean, it's been a great,
Wonderful.
yeah,
That's great.
great to see
Thank
these
you.
numbers rise and more people coming together of a like mind. And so,
Yeah.
so just want to give folks the number again. It's 213-893-4464. We just have time for a quick call. If you want to call in, don't be
Well,
shy.
if we don't have someone waiting, then why don't we just take a look at some comments?
All right, so let's see if we have any more. I've been putting them up as we receive them. So let's see if any more are coming in.
It's a tough topic, and I'm so appreciative of the people that called in to
Yeah.
tell us their stories.
Yeah.
Well, Rebecca says that she wrote 2 books about those experiences, and that's when it started. So.
Oh, yeah, I bet, Rebecca, that's where it would start. When you
Mhm.
came out of the box with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough coming out. It's easier to come out gay than it is to come out as a medium.
Well, not in the 80s so much now, because that's been so,
Yeah.
it's more, even though it's still sometimes very hard. It's hard to come out if you're different than,
Yeah.
choosing to live in the box.
Mm-hmm.
And
very
it's kind
true.
of- yeah. It's not easy. Unfortunately, in this day and age, you would think that it would be easier, that people would be more open-minded.
You
Yeah.
would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always have this saying, as long as you're not hurting anyone else and you're not hurting yourself, anything goes.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that too.
You don't have to believe it. I don't have to believe what someone else believes in, but
Right.
it's,
Yeah. Well, we also want to thank, how do I say this again? Zodica
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Want to make sure I got it right. Zodica Perfumery. We have that 25% off coupon with code BSN. That's going to expire on the 31st. So make sure you go to the website and get your gifts from Zodica Perfumery.
Wonderful Christmas gifts. If you don't know who John is referring to, it's a wonderful woman who started this company that we had on last week, that started a company about perfumes based on your zodiac sign.
And
Yeah.
I went there today. I actually went there today, and I
Top of
I
the
got some
show.
goodies.
Yeah.
I got some goodies, Cheryl, that I'll be bringing with me.
Wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yes. And give a shout out to Tammy and her podcast. We posted that in the Both Sides Now TV community group.
Great.
So check that out. And let's see what Tammy has to say in the last comment. She says, there's nothing more important than connecting on the heart level with one another. This community allows for that. Blessings to you all.
Oh, thanks, Tammy.
And
She's the best.
I'm so glad that you said that, Tammy, because I was just going to say that, if it can't be your family, find your tribe in this lifetime, and always use your support group and your connections. Don't isolate and feel, this alone. It's important to use your community and your connections.
Right. And I love, hey, Katrina. And it's so sweet. Thanks, Katrina. And I loved what Christine wrote. If you could put that for back. Thank you for this topic. Definitely tough. It is a tough topic. Bless and release. Right on. Bless and release. That's a good saying. Bless, release.
Bless and release. Yeah.
And as they say for the empaths, observe and don't absorb.
Oh, I love that, John. Observe, don't absorb.
Yeah.
That's a great one. All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, we'll be back next week. Same time, same place.
We have a special guest next week.
Great.
Thank you so much for listening and joining us.
Everyone.
Bye.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now, featuring the unconventional duo Dr. Shirley and Kelly White. Two perspectives, one world.